I would like to extend a warm welcome to members of the Council, officers and members of the public and press in attendance at this Council meeting of the 15th of September 2025. Welcome to those who may be watching the meeting live on YouTube. I am Councillor John Sleep, Chairman of the Council. Please note that this meeting is being broadcast live on the Council's website and on YouTube. It will remain available for a minimum of 12 months. Please switch any mobile devices, including laptops, to a silent setting for the duration of the meeting. If the fire alarm rings, please can everyone leave the room immediately and use the nearest signed fire exit. Please go to the fire assembly point, which is located at the bottom of the car park by the garages. We will take apologies. Chief Executive, do you have any apologies to report?
Apologies for absence have been received from Councillors Hayward and McCarthy. Are there any other apologies?
Yes. Richard Frampton.
Thank you. Apologies for Councillor Richard Frampton.
Thank you. We will take agenda item 1, minutes. Do members agree to the minutes of the meeting held on the 14th of July 2025 as a correct record? Thank you. We'll take agenda item 2, declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest in connection with an agenda item for this meeting? None, thank you. Agenda item 3, Chairman's announcements. Former Councillor George Dart. Members, it is with great sadness that we have recently learnt of the passing of former Councillor George Dart. George was first elected in 2003 to the North Totton ward and served continuously for 12 years until 2015. George served on the Economy and Planning Review Panel, the Environment Review Panel, Planning and Transformation Review Panel, and the Planning Development Control Committee. Members, I would like to extend our sincere condolences to George's family and friends and place on record this Council's thanks for his service to the district. Chairman's engagements. I attended the official opening of Bower Lodge School in Dibden and cut the ribbon with the senior management, parents and school staff. The school head, Gemma Dudgeon, gave me a guided tour of the new school buildings, which were very modern with facilities and equipment being all brand new. I held my own civic day at Hanger Farm, Totton, where we showcased the facilities on offer at Hanger Farm with the manager, Jay, Director of Social Enterprise, who spoke about what they do as well as what Minstead Trust and Fursey Gardens also offer. The day was a great success and the civic heads that attended were very impressed. And I understand that some have already visited Fursey Gardens and joined. I attended the New Forest and Hampshire County Show held in Brockinghurst, where our staff shared information about recycling and our new waste service. I also spoke to many stallholders and visitors throughout the day. I also attended the Silver Jubilee anniversary celebration of Fordingbridge Museum. The event was attended by distinguished guests and a guided tour of the museum was very interesting and informative. I attended the flag raising of the VJ80 alongside Councillor Elvin Reid, our Armed Forces champion, held here at Appletree Court. I was pleased to attend the Hampshire Skate exhibition Return from Malawi, held on Friday the 1st of August, where the Skates did a brilliant production and spoke about their experiences and how much it had affected them. They discussed the masses of work achieved at the 3 schools. This included decorating, building a brick kitchen from start, and cementing holes in floors and walls. I had the privilege to officially open the Salisbury Arcade Totton. The event was attended by Councillor Jill Cleary, Councillor Jeremy Heron and many officers. The improvements were made by NFDC, making the area much more desirable. Finally, the Vice Chairman, Councillor Dave Penny, attended the Friends of New Forest Airfield memorial service to remember those who flew from the New Forest airfields. It was a lovely and well-attended afternoon. Agenda item 4, Leaders' Announcements. Leader of the Council, do you have any announcements?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members will be aware how much my focus at the moment is on securing the best possible outcome for the New Forest as the future of local government is being decided. We will be debating this at our special council meeting on the 25th of September. However, I can assure members that this council remains focused on delivering improvements to our place and our people right now. We have recently improved Ballard Lake in New Milton as part of our Greenway Recreational Mitigation Programme. I attended the official opening event on Tuesday the 9th of September alongside Councillor Jeff Blunden and Councillor Derek Tipp to mark the completion of the improvements. It was brilliant to cut the ribbon at the opening event and see the local beauty spot benefiting from accessible seating, way improved footpaths and a new picnic bench which residents and visitors can use to enjoy the views of the lake. Over in Totton, we had officially opened another project. We have invested over $200,000 into improving Salisbury Road Arcade. At the opening event on Thursday 11th September, I got to see the improvements including new and reduced roof canopies, new ceilings, new lighting, new branding and signage, new cycle racks, a public seating area, a planter which was very pretty, it was on the wall, as well as other aesthetic and material improvements that add real vitality to the space. We have recently teamed up with New Forest Business Partnership to deliver a new apprenticeship hub, boosting local skills, supporting residents and strengthening the district's economy, funded through the UK Shared Prosperity Fund. The hub will ensure businesses have the right people with the right skills for the future. It will also help people of all ages access apprenticeships and training, making it easier to gain the skills needed for good jobs close to home. And finally, we have recently been awarded the Silver Award from the Armed Forces Employer Recognition Scheme. This prestigious award recognises our ongoing commitment to supporting the armed forces community. Our Armed Forces Staff Champion, Wesley Pay, who works in housing maintenance, collected the award on behalf of NFDC. This award is a testament to our commitment to supporting serving personnel, veterans and military families across our district. It's actually on the right-hand side on the wall where the two seats are outside of the Chief Exec's office. Do take a look. It's a really pretty award. Thank you.
Agenda item 5, Report of Cabinet, 6th of August 2025. Members, dealing first with part 1, I will call each item to see if any member wishes to speak on those matters resolved by Cabinet. Item 1, Proposed Draft Housing Landlord Strategy 2025 to 2030 with reference to the HRA Business Plan. Are there any speakers? None, thank you. Item number 2, Housing Annual Compliance Report. Are there any speakers? None, thank you. Item 3, Tenant Satisfaction Measures 2024-2025. Any speakers, please? No. Item 4, Update on Local Plan Review and Revised Local Development Scheme. Are there any speakers? Thank you. Members, moving now to part 2, I will call the relevant Cabinet members in turn to move the recommendations for Council. Item 5, Revised Transformation Strategy. Councillor Cleary, will you now introduce this item and the recommendations from Cabinet to note the revised business case position and to approve the revised transformation strategy?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you turn to Appendix 1, page 45, the Cabinet are recommending to Council the noting of the revised business case position and the approval of the revised transformation strategy. It is a key element in the corporate plan and it is the underpinning theme of the transformation strategy, Future New Forest. This now needs to be considered through the new lens of local government reorganisation to ensure delivery is focused on activities and investment that will provide the greatest benefits to enable the organisation to transition through the new authority. Thank you.
Councillor Steve Davis, will you second?
Very happy to second, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, this item is now open to debate. Are there any speakers? Councillor Rackham.
Thank you. With regard to the rollout of the wheelie bins and so on, I wonder, because there was such a mix-up about communication from the public, has anything been done to include that in the strategy? Any lessons learnt from that episode to be included in the strategy? Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Wade.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, clearly option one is the only sensible course for this authority to adopt, and I think we need to support that because we're going into LGR and our original transformation plans need to be flexible to take into account the new circumstances that we're going to be faced. It is obviously the right thing to do, and I support that.
Thank you. Any other speakers? Councillor Cleary, would you like to respond to the final speaker?
Councillor Rackham, we note your comments and thank you for your support, Councillor Wade.
Members, we will now go to the vote on the two recommendations. I will ask officers to proceed with an electronic vote for this item.
Okay, members, we're just sending the vote out now, which is to note the revised business case position and approve the revised transformation strategy. Options being for, against, the alternative, abstain. Okay, Chairman, that results with you now.
Thank you. That's carried. Thank you. We will take item 6, Principal Risk Register Review. Councillor Cleary, will you now introduce this item and the recommendation from Cabinet to adopt the Principal Risk Register updates?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It is recommended that you consider the Principal Risk Register updates and recommended adoption by Council. The reasons for these recommendations is to meet the requirements of the Council's risk management policy and to ensure that the Council complies with the corporate governance requirements relating to the risk management. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Steve Davis, will you second?
Happy to second, Chairman.
Thank you. Members, this item is now open to debate. Are there any speakers? Councillor
Okay, thank you, Chairman. Yes, I would just like, I think it should be noted that under risk PR14, the waste strategy implementation, the only risk that was identified was that members should be informing the community and facilitating the successful implementation of the strategy. I don't think that the problems we've experienced were identified properly in this waste strategy implementation risk. I think at the next audit committee meeting, we will be looking into that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Cleary, do you wish to respond?
Thank you, Councillor Alvey. We note your comments.
Thank you. Members will now go to the vote on the recommendation to adopt the Principal Risk Register updates. I will ask officers to proceed with an electronic vote for this item.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, once again, the vote is just being sent to members for adoption of updates to the current Principal Risk Register. That's now with you, Chairman.
Thank you. That vote is carried. Thank you. Agenda item 6, Report of Cabinet, 3rd of September 2025. Members, dealing first with part 1, There was one item resolved by Cabinet. Does any member wish to speak on item 1, financial monitoring report based on performance April to June 2025 inclusive? Are there any speakers? Councillor Wade.
Thank you, Chairman. In that report, it notes a certain amount of funding that has been used towards the waste issue. Will officers be in the future, and I know you're not really a question, but they should give us a report how much more money has been spent on it post that particular report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other speakers?
Anyone else? Any other speakers? Councillor Heron, do you wish to respond?
Chairman, the report was quite clear in the amount of funding that needed to be additionally supplied. That was 151,000 from the DEFRA on the rollout, and a further 150,000 agreed by the Section 151 officer to deal with the slight changes in the rollout and the way that waste was going to be collected. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 2, review of new waste collection service phase 1 rollout and motion to suspend phases 2 and 3. Members, moving now to part 2, we have one item, the review of the new waste collection service phase 1 rollout and motion to suspend phases 2 and 3. This item follows on from the extraordinary council meeting held on the 28th of August and Cabinet's consideration of the motion on the 3rd of September. Councillor Blunden, will you introduce this item and move the recommendation from Cabinet to endorse the 6 Cabinet resolutions as the correct and proportionate response to the motion? Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Happy to move the report and the recommendations 1 to 6 as set out on pages 101, 102.
Thank you. Councillor Steve Davis, will you second?
Happy to second, Chairman. Thank you.
Members, this item is now open to debate. Are there any speakers? Councillor Davis.
Thank you. I was just going to raise the fact that the report still doesn't, in my opinion, adequately address the issues that have been raised by councillors in the first phase. I still have the Buckland area of Lymington in Lymington and Pennington, which is still having regular missed collections for hundreds of households of food waste. That has not been addressed. I still have at least one property in Lower Pennington, Pennington Manor, which hasn't had a collection at all under the new waste system since June, and that still hasn't been addressed, despite multiple emails and correspondence between the residents and the council and myself and the council. So I can't have faith that the lessons have been learned when the issues that I have raised, and there are more, still haven't been fixed. I think the council needs to prove to those councillors in phase 1 that the issues have been fixed and are being addressed before rolling on to phases 2 and 3, and it hasn't happened.
Thank you. Councillor Malcolm Wade.
Thank you, Chairman. Well, it was originally my motion to pause it. And why? Because I'm concerned about our residents that are in phase 1 who've experienced problems, which is now well documented, and the residents in phases 2 and 3 who are about to have our strategy unleashed upon them. Councillor Alvey mentioned about the risk register. We were ill prepared, we're under budgeted and under resourced. That is a fact. Now my concern is that I want our residents reassured that as phase 2 goes out, we will not have the same problems we've had in phase 1. And certainly when we come to phase 3, it should be seamless. Now this isn't political, but you are the administration. It is your responsibility to provide the fit for purpose services for the people of New Forest. And that's not happened. And you can't blame anyone else because you are responsible as the administration. So let's try and get it right from now on for our residents so they don't have the problems they had before, and the donkeys and horses in New Forest and all the other animals are safe from pillaging our food caddies. It's really important for our residents we get it done right. So let's have the reassurance by the next council meeting that that's the case.
Thank you. Councillor Glass.
Thank you. Having heard from the other side the problems that they're reporting, one thing on my side, we're on the third part of the rollout. I'm getting chivied by the people in my area to get rid of the black sacks that split, that are attacked by seagulls, that the stuff's chucked all the way over the road. We haven't got donkeys where we are. We've got cattle grids to keep them out. So I don't see we're going to have the problems, because the rollout has picked up the problems on the way. They've been sorted. Okay, some of them are still requiring a little work. But the odd one or two problems left are not worth stopping the rollout, because the rollout, when we get it completed, we'll be able to claim back a lot of funding, which we don't want to miss. We also don't want to make people having to keep on putting black sacks out, but you've got to wait till just before the lorry arrives, otherwise you'll have the seagulls and the crows down there having a ball with the sacks. I think we've got to remember that the sacks were absolute rubbish, but we have improved the service now.
Thank you. Councillor Harrison.
Thank you, Chairman. I think it's unfortunate that the councillor there is describing this as an us and them issue. I think what the Liberal Democrats have done very successfully is give voice to residents. I'm very aware that the project itself was a difficult one to roll out. It was inevitable that there would be problems, but I think maybe a fair assessment would be that there were a lot more problems than anyone anticipated. That being the case, when the public started complaining, I think the biggest issue we started facing is that people weren't being listened to. They found it very difficult to contact customer services. Understandably, the administration here tried to underplay the importance of the issue, but I think it's got to you now. I think that it was a very good thing that we had the extraordinary meeting, because that gave a voice to some of the people who experienced the problems at first hand. And that was the first evidence, really, that you Conservatives started listening. So I think that although it hurts you a little bit, you might just give credit to the opposition for getting behind the people, helping the officers address the issues, and I like to think that when we get to phase 2 and phase 3, that will be largely down to ourselves. Now you've come on board with it, now you understand the importance of the issues, I think we can unite. And that's really what it's all about, isn't it? Uniting on behalf of the people to get the best possible waste management system that the forest deserves. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Councillor Rackham. Beat that.
Thank you. So there are some bits and pieces in this report that I think are excellent, and that officers and councillors have obviously heard the issues that people have. However, I do have a problem with the pannage period and waiting for the business case in order to extend keeping caddies behind gates. That's actually, the donkeys aren't just a pannage thing, that's a whole year-round thing, and it's already been found that there is plastic in their poo, which suggests that they're eating the bags out of the food caddies. So I don't think we need to wait for the business case, I think we just need to do it, really. So I would urge that recommendation 3 is adopted as set, rather than waiting for that business case. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Alex Wade.
Yes. At the last meeting, one of the opposition members quoted, "They don't come up with any ideas and suggestions." This was 2 minutes after I presented a suggestion to this council, so I'm going to present it again. The steering group that meets more weekly and more regularly is to be commended. However, it is made up of just 2 councillors, both cabinet members, members for phase 1 and 2. I would suggest that they are councillors who are quote-unquote backbenchers from all parties, including opposition members, that are in the relevant phases are invited to those groups to give not only resident but also councillor feedback on any challenges. It's a private group, but having contributions from people who live and represent in the area could be a good way forward. On the issues with regards to miscollections, delays, which happens, I understand, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that the operating team normally know by about 12, half 12, if they're going to miss one of the areas that they're going to deliver and they have to cancel or rearrange. I wonder if ward members, alongside using Facebook and social media, can be updated of this so we can help share that information out with the public and remove misinformation. Because the example I gave last meeting is that I had members believing they were in phase 1 and on wheelie bins, and it had changed to fortnightly purely because it had been missed and there had been no update from people who had left their bags out all day. And as Councillor Glass has mentioned about the crows several times, people don't want to leave their bags out all day, every day, for them to be ripped apart. So I wonder if there's any way that when there are missed collections, they can be shared with any ward members who can help get it out into the community quickly and effectively so any misinformation is missed. I would also ask that just clarity on KPIs that are clear and accountable on the waste service moving forward. We know we've got pointless KPIs that we need to replace, and as it is the core service that affects every single one of us in this room and the majority of staff and our residents, this is where I'd like to see some KPIs to us hold and accountable. So that sort of information and monthly reporting data will be really, really useful to the council and the relevant panel. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Thierry.
Thank you, Chairman. I listened at the last full council meeting to members of this council relating to us the problems that exist in their area. And I took account of what was said, anticipating that that would be reflected and replicated in my area when distribution of wheelie bins commenced. I have to say that that has not happened in Ringwood. Let me tell you that I have been diligently following through the comments of residents of my area. I have responded to 142 of them. 142 of them. And I can sum up the problems that they brought to me. I don't want wheelie bins. You've all had that. That's not a great issue, is it? Got no room for a wheelie bin. Doesn't mean to say they don't want one, just haven't got room for one. Waste of money, keep the sacks. Again, that's a worthy comment which people make. When it came to bins not being delivered, only 4 people have got in touch with me direct and saying, bins have been delivered in my area, but we haven't got one. And when I examined the addresses, I discovered that, quite frankly, they were not quite on the round. In other words, the entrance of the property was around the corner and simply was missed. So that's just 4 in Ringwood who are saying that they missed, and these have been referred back. The other comment that I've had is this is an excellent move. We really do want to have wheelie bins. So I'm terribly sorry that we are not getting the sort of problems that are evident in Pennington, where for some reason or other there's hundreds of them, according to Councillor Davis, where there are issues. I can only go by what I am experiencing myself. And as far as I'm concerned, phase 2 is being run out in a way which I think is absolutely acceptable. There will be missed bins, there will be people who say not at any price, but when we actually look at it, I think this council can take credit for the fact that in my area, I cannot speak for Pennington, I wish I could, I cannot speak for Pennington, but in my area, I would have to say that the rollout has been a success. And I thank you, Chairman, for your indulgence with me this evening, because I've certainly extended the time. If colleagues on the opposite side would like to learn a little bit of how we're doing it on our side, do please come and see me. I'll be only too happy to acquaint them with how it's done.
Thank you, Councillor. Could I ask Councillor Miller now, please?
Thank you, Chair. First of all, I'd just like to support what Councillor Wade proposed and to have opposition members on the steering group. Certainly as a Phase 2 councillor, I'd be very willing to sit on a group or to meet and represent our residents there. I'd also like to pick up Councillor Rackham's point about the Resolution 3 around pannage. Whilst this may not be an issue for every area, certainly the residents of God's Hill and Hyde are concerned about the behind gate policy and how it applies to them. I am one of several opposition-only councillors who accepted invitation from Brockenhurst residents 2 weeks ago to visit and tour, and I would like to extend my thanks to those residents who put a great deal of effort into putting on a tour for us, which was most illuminating and covered an awful lot of very detailed issues, which I know our team are trying to deal with. But it was very illuminating, and it wasn't greatly reassuring that the issues would be dealt with for Phase 2. Now, my residents in God's Hill and Hyde, they know that it's not a pannage issue. We know that the issue of the behind gate policy needs to apply for areas where donkeys are free roaming, and that is not just during pannage season. So I would greatly ask for clarity to be given to the residents within God's Hill and Hyde so that they know what to expect and that this issue is gone before the October the 20th rollout.
Thank you. Councillor Parker.
Thank you. I'd like to support Councillor Davies' comments and second Councillor Rackham's point on Resolution 3. I don't think it can wait for a business case either, some indeterminate point in the future, especially now that pannage has commenced. Donkeys are still raiding bins. I think it's quite likely that Brockenhurst is the worst affected area, hearing some numbers of complaints. I'm concerned about similar areas in phases 2 and 3, including God's Hill and elsewhere.
Thank you. Councillor England.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Well, councillors, we were here to discuss this a long time on the Thursday. And, excuse me, I would hope that everyone read the room from that situation. Some things have improved, and some things are still as woeful as they were previously. What I would like to see is this coming forward to stage 2, that they don't have the same issues that areas of stage 1 have had. And I do believe things are improving, but there's still gaping holes in the system. And for whatever councillors can put in, so stage 2 doesn't suffer like stage 1 did, I think that would be highly commendable. But there are still people in stage 1, whether it's Buckland, Pennington and Lymington. Still, somebody doesn't know where they live and communications are not as they could be. So I do hope that with this conversation yet again, and the room is read, and also with the endorsement from people from Brockenhurst who bothered to come to the meetings, that this is heard loud and clear for everyone's benefit and not just the donkeys. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Heron.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I don't think anyone in this room, and you can make a lot of political speech and attempt to make political hay about it, believes that it would be prudent to go back to outside the gate collections of waste food following the pannage season. And I am as confident as I can be that indeed we will maintain that going forward. But as always with the Liberal Democrats, they don't seem to follow the financial nuances that are needed to run a council. They just want to bulldoze through those, which would have, if we followed their principle, have given us incredible difficulties as we went into this waste rollout, because every time they have a budget, what they do is they spend all the reserves. Fortuitously, as Conservatives, we don't do that, and so when we have an issue, we can deal with it. And good financial management does not say that if in doubt, write a blank cheque. What it says is that one reviews it, those matters, and we even have standing orders and requirements, financial regulations. I don't know whether any Liberal Democrat has ever read a financial regulation on that side. Did you know they existed? We can get you a copy if you need them. But they require us to be accountable for the public money that we spend. The consequence of that is that although Councillor Rackham would like to willy-nilly write a blank cheque, and who cares who picks that up, we, on this side of the House,
please listen to the opposition.
insist that actually those financial regulations are followed, that it goes through the due process, and that is the process that we will follow. But as I say, if anyone on that side would like a copy of the financial regulations, we can arrange for them to be sent to them.
Thank you. Councillor Mbala.
Thank you, Chairman. It is regrettable to hear that there's still a matter of issue between one party or the other, when we got residents out there who just want to hear and to know that their concerns are being taken under consideration before the next rollout happens. But sitting here and just listening to this bigotry is revolting. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Armstrong.
Thank you, Chair. I think I'm probably the only councillor after going to Brockenhurst who wrote a full report. It's not very often councillors write reports. We often see them and read them. And I am pleased to know that officers have taken not only the residents' report from Brockenhurst, but also the one I wrote, which had a lot of solutions in it. I don't hear a lot of talk here this evening which talks about a lot of solutions. Unless we see the problem, you can't actually comment on it, which I had the privilege of actually doing. It was sad that we didn't have cross-representation in Brockenhurst, but that's another story. I'm pleased to hear that there is a meeting, as Councillor Blunden knows, and the officer behind me, James, are meeting with the residents. There is action going on. I'm pleased we've got a dedicated email now. That is a movement forward for every single one of us as this goes forward. They've now got a dedicated person looking after the deliveries of things. I could list a number of things that have happened since a number of us went to Brockenhurst and have taken up solutions which were put to them. We talk so much in this chamber about so many things, but how many people have put solutions to the problems as councillors? This is what we need to be doing, is working together and finding a balance to get the right answers. And so this is where I think we need to be more than ever before. And you know, I'm not playing politics because I don't like politics.
Thank you. Moving on, Councillor Blunden, do you wish to respond as the final speaker to any debate?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I think over the last few meetings, we've listened to the debate, and there have been a lot of constructive solutions put forward, and they have been listened to. We had the extraordinary meeting, council meeting. We had the cabinet meeting. We've also had the task and finish group. We've now got member briefings which are in place, so that gives all members the opportunity to have input as we go forward. And all those suggestions and comments are picked up with the steering group. So you can be assured that all these comments are taken up. Food collection has been mentioned in one particular area, in Pennington as one.
And I think more detail is required on that to ensure that the actual detail, the actual residents that we know are not getting the service they desire. I really don't want to know about numbers. I think we are now down to individual cases, and Councillor Davis, you can put forward those through the Waste Advisor route, and you will get answers and resolutions to those. That is starting to is working. One of the points was also raised was on the pannage period, and I think if you look at item 3, it says officers will continue to work on the business case behind the gate policy beyond pannage, and that is, it says there, in principle, agreement to a long-term solution. So it's quite clear on the direction of travel. On the direction of travel, we also need to know in detail what that is going to cost. That just can't be written off now, and that has to come back to council for that formal decision. So it's not something which is being shied away from. It is a clear direction of where we want to get to. Okay, that is in item 3. As I said, I think I welcome the constructive debate and all the comments that have been put forward. Thank you for those.
Thank you. Members, we will now go to the vote on the recommendation to endorse the Cabinet resolutions as the correct and proportionate response to the motion.
Thank you, Chairman. Just sending that vote to members now. As the Chairman said, it's for Council to consider to endorse the Cabinet's resolutions as the correct and proportionate response to the previous motion. So for, against and abstain the options for you. Okay, Chairman, those results are with you now.
Thank you. That motion is carried. Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 7, questions. Members, there are 18 questions. A reminder, we have a total of 30 minutes for this item. Any member asking a question who is not in attendance will have their question dealt with in writing, as will any question falling outside the 30 minutes. Each question shall be put and answered without discussion. Each reply should be no longer than 3 minutes. I will invite each member who has asked a question, if they have one supplementary question arising from the answer, which should be dealt with in a maximum of 2 minutes. First question, Councillor Alan O'Sullivan, to the Portfolio Holder for Environment and Sustainability, Councillor Geoffrey Blunden.
Chairman, point of order. Can I ask members to get a rattle on? Mine is the 18th question, and I'm a bit concerned I won't get an opportunity to ask it.
I can live with that.
Thank you. We haven't got much time. Question 1.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman. Could the portfolio holder please update Council on the preparations being made for phases 2 and 3 of the ongoing rollout of the new waste servers and lessons being learned from phase 1?
Right, we go straight on to 2 now, don't we?
No, we have to get the answer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course we do. Yeah. Councillor Jeff Blunden, sorry.
That's right. We want to go fast, don't we? Yes. Plans are well advanced for our phase 2 rollout, which is focused on the west of the district. All residents in this area have received initial letters to explain the changes and the bin deliveries to their households, which are on track with over 6,000 properties delivered to so far. New frontline staff for Phase 2 have been employed and are being trained. This means we are on schedule to commence the collections in this area on the 20th of October. Phase 3 preparations are also continuing, with bin deliveries due to commence after Christmas, and some early recruitment has also taken place for Phase 3. The lessons learned from Phase 1 and the necessary actions taken were reported to the Cabinet on the 3rd of September and are being actioned and monitored frequently by the Waste Programme Board. This includes actions around pay, recruitment, training, communications, route planning, and how we deal with collections in the open forest. These changes will ensure that this hugely significant modernisation of our service continues as programmed.
Thank you. Are there any supplementaries, Councillor Sullivan?
Yes, I do, thank you. I've read in the local press that several neighbouring authorities are facing significant disruption to their waste collection services, with miscollections and cancellation attributed to staff shortages, limited availability of agency staff and ageing vehicles. I'm aware that we're tackling staff issues through the introduction of a market supplement, which is reassuring. However, I understand waste vehicle build lead times can exceed 18 months. Could you provide reassurance that our fleet capacity will remain sufficient to maintain service delivery in the short and medium term?
Councillor Blunden.
Thank you again for that question. I think it really highlights the complexities of the service improvement. And it's an intricate logistical exercise with many moving parts. We have to be alive to the fact that resourcing is clearly a challenge in this sector. And that's why we've recently applied a market supplement to support both retaining and recruiting staff. Crews being able to operate in a cleaner, safer way by using bins, not sacks, has also had the desired benefit in terms of attracting more staff. We've also identified the vehicles are indeed on a long lead term, and that has been recognised early on, and that's why we've placed orders for a year ago to have those fully in place for the next 2 phases. We've also, in the background, of course, if we run into problems, we have the ability to hire vehicles should that need arise.
Thank you. We go to question 2 from Councillor Alvin Reid to the portfolio holder for housing and homelessness, Councillor Steve Davis.
Thank you, Mr Chairman. Councillor Davis, I've recently seen an announcement of new shared ownership homes. This has appealed to a number of people, not least of all those looking to get on the ladder. But opportunities are hard to find. Would the portfolio holder please give some indication of where and when such opportunities may be expected next? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Davis.
Yeah, thank you, Alvin. Councillor Reid. Thank you. Yeah, we're currently marketing shared ownership properties across the district. 2 in Brockenhurst that I saw recently near the 2 masonettes near the station I saw with Councillor Parker, and of course Fordingbridge, Knightswood Chase. The first tranche comes free, available. I think it's in a couple of weeks' time. We're certainly going to visit with Councillor Wood and Councillor Miller this week to actually inspect the first ones of those coming forward there. There's 14 houses and flats due there, so that's very exciting. That's a very big project. In New Milton, of course, work has just started on the 16 shared ownership properties at Danes Park. This is obviously what we also know as Brock Hills, depending who you're talking to. And another 10 under construction in Bransgore, and this is the land south of Derritt Lane on the way to the Woolpack, to Sopley. The pub slipped out then. In addition to the 42 just mentioned, there are several other schemes also coming forward. And quite frankly, these are owing to the housing associations. Vivid play a big part in the New Forest with their pipeline. And they started to market homes, shared ownership homes, in Ashurst and Fordingbridge themselves. A further 8 under construction in the Sway, and 23 are due to be built in Hordle. At one of my favourite sites is Dibden Purley's Astor Orchard Gate development in Nodes Way. Now, Nodes Way in Dibden is a very beautiful leafy road, but there are 14 homes coming forward for shared ownership, which again is meeting the demand. And this demand has been clearly laid out in, I think, in our local plan policies, which helps us to actually respond along with the other providers to meet local demand.
Thank you. Councillor Reid, do you have another supplementary, not another question?
Yes, please, Mr Chairman. I'm reassured by so many shared ownership houses becoming available. That is really, really, really good news. But for some first-time buyers who might have hopes for starting a family, or actually any first-time buyer, they may find difficulty getting a mortgage. So what are the options available for applicants in such a case who have difficulty getting a mortgage?
I think that's a question well placed. I think for shared ownership, you don't actually need a mortgage. What you actually need is a deposit. And it can be anything from 10 to 50%. So you don't need to get a mortgage for that. Ideally, you won't need to get a mortgage for that. So it could be that, say, for a £300,000 house, you need a £30,000 deposit. Now, that can come from a number of areas, not least the bank of mum and dad, but basically, which is... Good. My heart's bleeding here, but basically, I think it's worth bearing that in mind. The fact is, it will certainly pay for itself. If it is a mortgage you take out for the 10%, then you'll certainly be quids in when it comes to the actual monthly payment, because you pay rent on the remaining 90%, so it works out cheaper than market rate rent. So there are always ways around it. You don't have to have a mortgage. There are other ways to acquire the funds, but that needs to be thought through as part of the viability check when anyone makes a submission for a shared ownership purchase.
Thank you. Question 3 from Councillor Ian Murray to the portfolio holder for Community Safety and Wellbeing, Councillor Dan Poole.
Thank you, Chairman. With the imminent launch of the New Forest Community Lottery Scheme, can the portfolio holder please provide a progress update?
Thank you, Councillor Murray. I welcome the opportunity to provide a very timely update on the New Forest Community Lottery. A launch event which I attended was held on the 9th of September with 71 different groups attending from across the district. In just a few days, 24 organisations have already joined the lottery, and we know from the positive feedback that there are more applications to come. These groups are now actively promoting the lottery, and we will complement this with our own communications, with the first weekly draw going live on Saturday, the 27th of September. After 1 year of operating, the Community Lottery will report to the Housing and Communities Overview and Scrutiny Panel to provide a full update, and in the meantime, I trust my fellow members will promote joining the lottery to voluntary groups in their own communities.
Thank you. Councillor Murray, do you have a supplementary, not another question?
Very, very short. How do we sign up, or how do residents rather sign up?
It's quite straightforward. If they go to the residents section on the District Council's website, all the information is there. There's a lot of information, particularly for anyone that may have concerns about the gambling. It answers an awful lot of the information. And as you can imagine, there's an awful lot of our local charities who have very warmly received this in light of local funding streams drying up in recent years, mainly due to cost of living. Thank you.
Thank you. Question 4 from Councillor Steve Rippon-Swain to the leader, Councillor Joe Cleary.
Thank you, Chairman. Before I push my question, I'd just like to say, and I hope it's the same throughout this chamber, I'm very grateful for the leader's work and the time she has spent in trying to achieve a result of the LGR. I think at the moment we're in a good place to be, but it has taken a lot of time and I'm grateful for it. But I would ask, with LGR impacting on our corporate plan priorities, and subsequent amendments made earlier in the year, can the leader please update us on how this is going and whether we need to make any adjustments?
Thank you, Councillor Cleary.
Thank you, Councillor Rippenswain. Our strategic delivery plan, which monitors delivery of our corporate plan priorities, is being kept under review, and an updated version will be presented to the Resource and Transformation Panel in September before Cabinet in October. We are not recommending the removal of any additional activities from the list, but we are conscious that capacity will continue to be stretched and new priorities related to the delivery of LGR will emerge. Considering the capacity we will need to deliver key projects, including LGR, officers are developing a Programme Management Office, PMO. This will bring increased structure and assurance to the development and delivery of priorities and management of resources. We will need to continue to review priorities against our resources and, where necessary, take informed decisions to increase or decrease activity in certain areas to ensure the best outcomes over a more limited timeframe. The updated strategic delivery plan is appended to our corporate peer challenge update, which illustrates that despite the challenges of LGR, we continue to make good progress. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Rippenswain, do you have a supplementary?
No, thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. We're moving on to question 5. From Councillor Alan Glass to the portfolio holder for planning and economy, Councillor Derek Tipp.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can the portfolio holder give an update on progress since the publication of the Skills Action Plan at the July Cabinet? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tipp.
Thank you, Councillor Glass, for giving me the opportunity to highlight this important area of work which the Council is undertaking. We know that unemployment generally is rising and young people are particularly affected. Since July, much has happened with the Skills Action Plan. A new strategic group is now in place and has already held its first meeting, with its first working group focusing on young people. Nearly £200,000 of government UK shared prosperity funding is backing new programmes, from start-up support and apprenticeships to digital skills and outreach to young people not in education, employment or training, known as NEET. We've also partnered with Maritime Solent to boost local careers in the maritime sector, the first local authority to do so. By working with Maritime Solent, which is a hub organisation which connects the many different parts of the marine industry, we will ensure that the local training and apprenticeship programmes are aligned with real industry needs, helping businesses access a skilled workforce, helping residents into quality jobs, and so driving economic growth across the district. To champion small businesses, we're implementing the New Forest Scale Up Support Programme to help small businesses grow quickly and sustainably, as well as sponsoring the Best Micro Business Award at the New Forest Business Partnership Brilliance in Business Awards. Entries for this close on the 30th of September. Lastly, our relaunched business e-newsletter now reaches over 3,000 subscribers, sharing opportunities and updates across the New Forest. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Glass, do you have a supplementary?
Just a brief one, Mr. Chairman. Have any skill gaps and shortages been identified by the research carried out so far?
Yes, quite a lot of research has been carried out and several key skills shortages affecting the New Forest workforce have been identified. A notable gap in finance professionals was highlighted, alongside a broader need for vocational apprenticeships to support local industry demands. There were also concerns about a shortage of soft skills training, particularly in communications and teamwork. The COVID-19 pandemic was seen as a contributing factor, having limited young people's access to social and professional development experiences. Additionally, the use of remote working has reduced opportunities for workplace social interactions, further impacting the development of these essential skills. Other identified challenges included a lack of local support for entrepreneurship, a persistent emphasis on university pathways over vocational training, and concerns about the potential defunding of BTEC qualifications. These issues could significantly impact student pathways into key growth sectors such as engineering, exacerbating existing skills shortages. The action plan intends to reduce these gaps through targeted training, enhanced careers guidance, and stronger employer education collaboration. These will be essential measures for supporting the local labour market.
Question 6 from Councillor Richard Young to the portfolio holder for Finance and Corporate, Councillor Jeremy Heron.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Could the portfolio holder please advise how the recent increase in workload for customer services is being managed? Thank you.
Thank you for that question. As everybody knows, with the rollout of the waste service, we had a significant increase in the contact with our customer contacts. Primarily, our first port of call is obviously to deal with those issues and try to reduce that level of calling, but it is very important that we continue to support our residents and get information out there. And we did indeed suffer with some difficulties with that in the early stages. I'm pleased to say that we have recruited an additional 4 new customer service staff to join our existing team to bolster it and improve in delivering the message, because it is vital that we do get that and we keep our residents informed as issues go about and things change. And indeed, that is also part of the job of the local ward councillors. I am very pleased to say that we have now begun to get on top of this, and that our average call time response is between 9 and 10 minutes, and we are dealing with some of the getting through the considerable amount of email that we also receive through and responding to that in a more timely fashion. And I'm very pleased that we are beginning to do that. I would point out that is our average time. There are peak times when when those call waiting is a little longer than that. We hope that people will either bear with us or call back a little later when perhaps the call time is not so, waiting time is not so long. Thank you.
Councillor Young, do you have a supplementary?
No, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Moving on to question 7 from Councillor Christine Ward to the portfolio holder for Environment and Sustainability, Councillor Geoffrey Blunden.
Thank you, Chairman. As the councillor for Milford-on-Sea and Hordle, can the portfolio holder please update on coastal management measures in place in preparation for the winter storms?
Councillor Blunden.
Yes, thank you, Councillor Wall, for this timely question as we approach the winter storm season. The coastal team will monitor and assess weather forecasts and tidal conditions throughout the winter period, as in fact they do throughout the year. This includes assessing and the monitoring and forecasting reports from indeed multiple sources. However, we are also supporting practical interventions to reduce the impact of winter storms. These works and inspections include the shingle recycling at Hurst Spit, where we have secured EA funding. Works to provide additional rock armour protection to a short section of failing seawalls towards the eastern end of Milford-on-Sea. Completion of detailed inspections of our coastal assets, beaches, seawalls, groins, to assess their condition and effectiveness. These measures help us to reduce risk, protect communities, and maintain the integrity of our coastlines during severe weather events. Should there be any storm impacts on our coastal line, the coastal team will undertake reactive assessments and surveys to determine the extent of any impact and any actions that may be required.
Thank you. Councillor Ward, do you have a supplementary?
No, thank you very much, Chairman.
Thank you. Moving on, question 8. Councillor Malcolm Wade to the portfolio holder for Environment and Sustainability, Councillor Geoffrey Blunden.
Thank you, Chairman. Councillor Blunden, how many properties has the original survey this authority had done advised cannot take wheelie bins across the district? And how many more are we discovering cannot take wheelie bins as we roll it out?
Thank you as always, Councillor Wade, for those questions. The original survey work carried out by Keep Britain Tidy indicated that just under 5,000 properties, that's 6% of the total, would be unsuitable for wheeled bins. As you would expect, that is a live data set, and some changes are being made as the rollout commences and engagement with our residents continues, with alterations accordingly. That means, i.e. some properties allocated SACs have been unable to accommodate bins and vice versa. Unfortunately, the original data set was not broken down into phases, and with us being in part way through the rollout, it is not at this stage possible to determine the exact numbers. It will be possible at the end of the rollout, and I'm very happy to return to this question at a later date, but officers are not expecting a significant overall change from that which was originally estimated at 5,000.
Thank you. Councillor Wade, a supplementary?
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah. As we have a legal duty to collect waste from a household free of charge, why are we discriminating against council tax-paying households whose location prevents them from having a wheeled bin by not supplying black bags, the reserve method for collecting that waste?
I think we in fact do provide black bags. It depends on the circumstances of where they are collected, and they are assessed. We have some areas which are still on bag collections because they have been assessed not suitable for bin collection.
Question 9, Councillor Jack Davis to the Councillor Portfolio Holder for Environment and Sustainability, Councillor Geoffrey Blunden.
Thank you. I was speaking to a woman in Lymington the other day who hasn't had her food waste collected on 5 separate occasions in the last couple of months. She is just one person, but there are hundreds more in the Marsh Lane and Lower Buckland Road areas of Lymington who are losing faith in the council's ability to collect the bins. When will residents get the service they pay for?
Councillor Blunden.
Thank you, Councillor Davis, for that question. Really, once again, I would like to apologise to those residents who have had collections missed. As a result of the crews becoming more familiar with their new rounds, as well as the provision of more resources as laid out on the report to Cabinet earlier this month, we are seeing improved completions of our collection rounds and ensuring that residents receive the level of service and reliability they would expect. We continue to advise residents affected by the service disruption to record this via miscollections, particularly on web forms, as this is the fastest route for resolutions. Miscollections are flagged directly into the new CAB units, which picks up those issues.
Thank you. Councillor Davis, a supplement?
Thank you. I didn't hear you say when the specific issues in Lower Buckland Road and Marsh Lane will be resolved. So when will they be resolved?
All the issues which have been outlined tonight, and those in particular you refer to, are being resolved.
Thank you. Question 10. Councillor Colm McCarthy to the Portfolio Holder for Environment and Sustainability, Councillor Geoff Blunden. Yes, Councillor McCarthy isn't here, so his question will be answered by letter. Question 11. Councillor Patrick Mbala to the Leader of the Council, Councillor Gio Cleary.
Thank you, Chairman. As a councillor for the ward of Marshwood and Ealing, I'd like to ask that under the LGR proposed option 1, what reassurance can be given to the people of Marshwood and Ealing and the Waterside regarding the tangible benefits of the free port to the community and the improvement of local infrastructure?
Thank you. Councillor Cleary.
Thank you for your question, Patrick. Under option 1 of the proposed local government reorganisation, the Waterside would remain part of the wider rural-based unitary authority which would keep the New Forest whole. This is a key to ensuring that communities like Marchwood and the Waterside benefit directly from the Solent Freeport. This local control means we can focus investment where it matters most, push for infrastructure improvements, and make sure the Freeport delivers real opportunities for local people, including jobs, skills, and better connectivity. We're working closely with Freeport partners on taking forward this Council's priorities as key deliverables for a successful Freeport. Tangible examples of progress include the recently adopted New Forest Skills Action Plan, the delivery of improved cycling, walking infrastructure across the Waterside, work on progressing a master plan for Totton Town Centre, and the expected planning application for the upgrade of the A326. We will continue to press for outcomes that reflect our community's needs. Option 1 gives us the best platform to do that, keeping decisions local, accountable, and focused on delivering tangible benefits.
Thank you. Councillor Mabala, do you have a supplementary?
No supplementary from me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Question 12, Councillor Phil Woods to the portfolio holder for Environment and Sustainability, Councillor Geoffrey Blunden.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Could the portfolio holder please confirm what the income from car parks in Fordingbridge was in the last financial year? And further, has the portfolio holder noticed any increase in Saturday income from these car parks since the 19th of July, following the launch of the weekly parkrun event in Fordingbridge?
Sorry, Councillor Blunden.
Thank you again, Councillor Woods, for that question. The 24-25 metre income received from Fordingbridge car parks amounted to £161,144. In the 8 weeks since the 19th of July, just under £12,000 has been collected on Saturdays. In the preceding 8 weeks, 9,400 was collected, whilst in the comparative period last year for this amounted to just under £8,000. I would particularly like to congratulate the people of Fordingbridge for making the new park run event such a success. And I note there were, I think, over 1,800 participations and volunteers taking part since it began.
Thank you. A supplementary? Mr.
Yes. While parkrun is starting to bring people into the town on Saturdays, a far stronger incentive would be to try a first-hour free parking scheme in Fordingbridge, as Fordingbridge is the only town in the area with no free parking at all, putting our high street at a real disadvantage. Will the portfolio holder commit to trialling such a scheme so that local businesses have a fair chance to compete with neighbouring towns?
I think with the number of voluntary organisations who do brilliant work across the district, I think everybody would want to link into that and would want free parking. It always a difficult call, this one, but I think the policy that we have at the moment is right. But as going forward, it's always something we can review.
Thank you.
Thank you. We've exceeded our time limits. Then following questions from 13 onwards will be answered by post. Moving on to agenda item 8, notice of motion. Members, in accordance with Standing Order 42.2, I will allow this motion to be dealt with this evening as I consider it to be convenient to this dispatch of business. Councillor Jack Davis, I invite you to move your motion.
Thank you, Chairman. I will read the motion, if that's okay. Yep. So this is reinstating the 1 hour free parking period on Lymington High Street. Council notes that Hampshire County Council is responsible for on-street parking across the county, including in the New Forest. That the free on-street parking period in Lymington has been reduced from 1 hour to just 20 minutes. That local shopkeepers and residents have raised concerns that 20 minutes is not long enough for people to use multiple shops, visit cafes, or support local services on the high street. And that Lymington and Pennington Town Council recently voted to support the campaign by shopkeepers for the reinstatement of the 1 hour free parking period on Lymington High Street. Council believes that the reduction from 1 hour to 20 minutes free parking is damaging to the vitality of Lymington High Street. That a reasonable period of free parking supports both residents during a cost of living crisis and our small businesses who rely on local footfall, that the council should support the campaign by local shopkeepers in pressing for fairer parking policy. Council recommends that the leader of the council writes formally to Hampshire County Council requesting the reinstatement of at least 1 hour of free on-street parking in Lymington, with correspondence to be made available to all councillors. And that the council engages with local business groups, chambers of commerce and residents' associations to gather evidence on the impact of parking policy on high streets across the district to strengthen the case for fairer parking provision.
Councillor Davis, did you want to speak more on this?
Don't worry, I won't speak too long on it. It's just to say that Lymington High Street is the heart of our town. It's a place of history, of business, of community. But that heart is being weakened because of Hampshire County Council's decision to remove the 1 hour free parking. It has betrayed residents and businesses alike. Tonight, I hope that we can start to put it right. Let's call on the County Council to restore 1 hour free parking and stand up for Lymington's businesses, Lymington's people, and Lymington's future.
Thank you. Councillor Malcolm White, I understand that you'll be seconding this motion now, rather than Councillor McCarthy. Is that correct?
That is correct, Chairman, yes. I'm happy to speak at the end of the debate, Chairman.
Sorry. Say you were going to speak later.
Yeah, I'll speak later, yeah.
Thank you. Councillor Cleary, I understand that you wish to speak and move on an amendment.
That is correct, Chairman. Now, can I take you back to your speech that you made? I would like, where you've put council notes, to insert the following. That work is already underway to address concerns about parking policy, including active engagement by local Lymington ward councillors with residents, businesses and Hampshire County Council. Point 2. That ward councillors have been working to raise awareness of the impact of the reduced free parking period and to support the campaign for reinstatement through formal and informal channels. Point 3. That this local work has helped to bring attention to the issue. And then if I could take you to your council recommends, I would like to delete that the council engages with local business groups, chambers of commerce and residents associations to gather evidence of the impact of parking policy on high streets across the district to strengthen the case for fairer parking provision, because I have inserted that virtually under council notes.
Okay, Councillor Heron, I understand that you'd like to second this amendment. Would you like to speak now or reserve the right to speak later in the debate?
Happy to second this and would reserve to speak later. Thank you.
Chairman, can I now call speakers on the amendment proposed by Councillor Cleary, please? Councillor Harrison.
Chairman, with a heavy heart, I'm afraid I can't support the amendment. I think the problem with the amendment is that it just kicks the can down the road. We know that retailers in Lymington are suffering as a result of these charges. I looked across the chamber at Councillor Dunning, who was looking very thoughtful and studied, as is his normal characteristic. And I just wondered whether he has any thoughts on this issue, because he probably shares, as I do with my colleagues here, the wish that retailers get more immediate support than this amendment suggests. And he knows the importance of business. He knows the importance of financial sustainability for the retailers of Lymington. And he wouldn't want that to be delayed in any way by this knee-jerk amendment that we're being asked to support.
Thank you. Councillor Rackham.
So I was just after a little more detail on exactly what work you're proposing has been done or to do.
Well, it's already underway to address...
It's not a question, Councillor. So next one is Murray. Yeah. Councillor Murray.
Thank you. Twice in one night for me. I'm going to politely disagree with you, David, across the way. I can't see how the amendment pushes it down the road from what is already a very good proposal. I do think it highlights, however, the impact that the council has already taken and the ward members and the ward councillors have already undertaken. I don't see quite how it detracts in terms of a time wasting. What I would also like to know, I know this isn't question time, is whilst this is ongoing, where is it that people and residents and shop goers in Lymington can park that we provide? And is there enough? Is there currently sufficient parking whilst this is ongoing, hopefully to be rectified?
Councillor Jack Davies.
Yes, so thank you, Leader, for your amendment. There are two parts to this amendment. The first part is about notes, and the second is about removal of one of the recommendations. The notes section has been designed to try and fluff Councillor Dunning's ego. That's all it is, to make it look like he's actually done something when the Town Council have been crying out for him to do something and he hasn't done it. The second part is the removal of the recommendation that this council engages with local business groups, Chambers of Commerce and Residents Association to gather evidence on the impact of parking policy on high streets across the district. Actually, I think that's very important because it's very easy for the leader of the council to write to the county council. It's not very easy to actually take a look at parking policy in a detailed sphere and look at how that impacts on the local economy. So I think the recommendation is quite crucial to the overall intention of the motion. So I'd be very much against taking that out. So I do think that I don't really care about the notes because that's quite frankly just to make Councillor Dunning feel better. In terms of the recommendation, I think that should be in.
Yes, Councillor Thierry.
I do believe the comment that Councillor Davis has made in a personal way against Councillor Dunning is unwarranted and unfounded. Well, if you want to argue semantics, let's do so.
Councillor
You don't
Cherry.
want to face up to the fact that
Councillor
what you
Cherry,
have done is outrageous. You have no idea what Councillor Dunning has been doing behind the scenes.
It's not a point of order, thank you.
At least I've made my point.
Councillor Dunning.
Thank you, Chairman. Councillor Davis, when putting this motion all together, did it ever go through your mind that it might be a good protocol and manners to consult the two Lymington ward councillors, that's Councillor England and myself, for their input and their opinion? I don't think you did, which I think is rather rude. I support the proposal to put as much pressure on Hampshire County Council to award 1 hour free parking instead of just 20 minutes. I've put together a deputation of Lymington High Street retailers who will be presenting the case for this time increase to Hampshire County Council Universal Services Committee on the October the 20th, where they will be discussing on-street parking throughout Hampshire. Parking restrictions will be coming to your town soon, so please support this motion for a reasonable time for local people to enjoy their high street. And 1 hour is the appropriate time. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Wade.
Yeah, on the amendment, first of all, tribute that the leader's taken time from a busy schedule to want to contribute to this issue. So, however, I focus on the 2 points really. We need to do something now. We need to engage with our traders. We need to show there's a district council leadership. We care and we want to talk to them, get their view before we go to the county council. And it's clear that this is having a severe impact on the viability of their businesses. So we should do everything we can as soon as we can to try and help them. That's what council should do.
Thank you. Councillor Heron, do you respond as a seconder?
Thank you, Chairman. I support the amendment very much because I believe that whilst I give all credit to Councillor Davies for bringing this matter forward, he has in some way jumped the gun a bit in that he has not consulted with the ward councillors in whose area this is specifically an issue. And both of those ward councillors have, perhaps a little quieter and a little behind the scenes, been doing a great deal of work and effort on this matter. The amendment is designed to support them as they take this forward, and they already have a plan of action and have been working on that for some time. And as they are the people in the hot seat and they are the people in the front line on this, I believe that we should support them in the way forward and support this amendment. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Cleary, do you wish to respond to the debate?
Thank you. Just really to point out, we are supportive of this on behalf of the residents. We do not support this on behalf of Jack Davis, but on behalf of our residents. And it is our role to look in detail, as described, the re-parking policy. That is for County Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Davis, do you wish to respond as the final speaker?
Again, I don't care about the council note stuff, that's fluff. I care about the recommendation, and I would prefer that that remained in, and I would not support the amendment if that is reduced.
Members, we will now go to the vote on the amendment to the motion proposed by Councillor Cleary. I will now ask officers to proceed with the electronic vote.
Okay, members, just for absolute clarity, you're now voting on the amendment proposed by Councillor Cleary, and that was for the insertion of the wording that's been circulated to you all on email under the notes section, with the removal of one of the bullet points from the resolution section. And that's now with you. So you're voting for, against, or abstaining from the amendment. That results now with you, Chairman.
Thank you. That motion is carried. If carried, the amended motion becomes a substantive for further debate. Members, can I call any further speakers on the substantive motion? Councillor England.
Thank you very much. I thank all councillors who have brought this to the floor today so it can be discussed. For your information that there has been a great amount of disquiet within the community, whether it's businesses and residents, and even visitors. The footfall for the lot of the shops has really declined. So I would like you all to take this personally, because as this was mentioned in this chamber, this will be coming to a town not too far away from you very shortly. So Lymington's lucky it has several facets, But if it didn't, we would be really in dire straits. And I feel that this is going to be taken forward, and it's been brought forward by one of the local shop owners, and I believe he has in excess of 7,000 signatories in a petition to take this to Hampshire County Council. And I feel that it's really important that it's mentioned here, but I do realise that the decision is made at Hampshire County Council. So any of you, whatever political party you come from, double hatters that will be at Hampshire County Council and have any persuasion and conversation with your fellow councils there, please take our plight forward that Lymington really would like an hour free parking. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Alex Wade.
Just to say, I have no interest in the psychodrama of Lymington and Pennington councillors. It's just that if Lymington, which is probably the most high-profile high street in our community, is impacted by footfall and businesses, then it gives me great concern for Hythe and Dibden and Fordingbridge, New Milton and others. And I believe that our businesses, particularly independent ones, are crying out for free-hour parking, lower-cost parking, so people can use them, particularly with banks no longer on our high streets and the battle to stay alive. So whatever we can collectively do for our towns and villages to fight for lower parking charges, to keep these shops alive, and often local residents who run these businesses in a job and providing and supporting the local economy, we should, and it would be great if we could do it collectively, because we all support rural towns and villages where these independent businesses rely on regular business throughout the year. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Rackham.
So it's good to hear that everybody's fighting for a free hour at Hampshire County Council, but what about our own car parks, the NFDC car parks? Can't we have a free hour in the NFDC car parks that are having exactly the same impact on our local businesses in the high streets?
Thank you. Councillor Clark.
Thank you, Chairman. As a representative for the town centre in New Milton, I do firmly support the action, but I'd actually like to just congratulate Councillor Barry Dunning, because he's actually brought this already forward, and it's a piece of work underway. So I want to put my congratulations to him for highlighting the issue way before anybody else.
Thank you. Councillor Davis, would you like to wrap up, please?
Sorry, Councillor Wade.
Sorry, Councillor Wade.
Thank you, Chairman. Wouldn't it be really good if we finish the evening on something we all unite on? Eh? Right? And that is supporting new forest businesses. I know we do a lot of work through our various aspects, but this is a tangible thing, supporting through forest businesses to get the county council to see sense and reduce its charging premise and allowing an hour free. It makes perfect sense. I don't feel there's anybody that could go against that, and we should all support this motion.
Thank you. Councillor Davis.
Yes, I'm very grateful to hopefully all the councillors who support the motion, and I'm very hopeful that it would have the desired effect, force the county council to agree and to support the businesses of Lymington. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, we'll now go to the vote on the substantive motion. I will now ask officers to proceed with an electronic vote.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, just to clarify, this is the motion proposed by Councillor Jack Davis as amended by Councillor Cleary, which was carried earlier. So the motion as amended, the options for, against, or the alternative is to abstain. Okay, Chairman, that's just with you now.
Thank you. The substantive motion is carried. Moving on to agenda item 9, membership of committees and panels. Do the groups have any changes to make to their nominations to committees and panels? Councillor Poole.
None, Chairman.
Thank you. Councillor Malcolm Wade.
Madam Chairman, we're all happy as we are.
Thank you. Councillor Armstrong.
None from us either, Chairman.
Thank you. Councillor Richards.
No changes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to agenda item 10, future meeting dates for 2026-27. The proposed meeting dates for the municipal year 2026-27 are set out on the agenda. Members, please can I ask that you agree to these? Agree. Thank you. Agenda item 11, any other items which the Chairman decides are urgent? There are none. Can I take the opportunity to thank you all for working through this evening's important business? I declare this meeting closed.